My name is Neil Johnston, Chief Executive, Paddington Development Trust. Paddington Development Trust is a community development trust. We've been in existence since 1997, and our principal aims are to provide socio-economic support to people living in 4 of the most deprived neighbourhoods in the UK. I suppose the foundational one is neighbourhood management, local area renewal partnerships, which have in some ways revolutionised the way public services are delivered at grassroots levels in what have been traditionally regarded as difficult neighbourhoods. We act as the accountable body. We bring in external funding extra to the council itself. We sit on the local area agreement partnership board, the Westminster Partnership, City Partnership, the LSP. And so we act as a sort of interface between what are very difficult neighbourhoods and public services, but principally with the partners being led by Westminster City Council, NHS and police, education. I mean, the main players within communities. This commissioning process actually assists in all of those objectives. We established with the council, at the council's behest, a framework agreement, which effectively is a commissioning mechanism or a preferred supplier mechanism, which allows the council to work with us in commissioning services for local people. And it can either be a built environment project, it can be a youth project, it can be an economic development project, it can be an environmental project. But what it does allow the council to do is to operate in quite an effective way. If you're tendering, and on a wide tender basis, that A, the time frame is unbelievably long sometimes, B, you don't necessarily locate the final winner of a bid, of a tender bid, as being a local organisation. And we're very keen to make sure that resources that are applied in Westminster stay in Westminster. It's certainly a new way of working in the sense that we operate at a community base which in England tends not to have an institutional framework, in that you have government, local government, the big public agencies, and then in areas or neighbourhoods that are particularly difficult, there are a series of hodgepodge and fragmented relationships, often dependent upon disparate funding streams. So working with priorities, fixing long-term objectives is quite difficult because funding streams shift and various policies change and what have you. And what we can do is establish through our neighbourhood management centres and relationships with local residents priorities that they see in the long term, initiatives that assist people in improving the quality of their life, and participation. All our stuff goes through basically resident-based panels who work with us to identify the best way forward. Now, with a framework agreement and with the establishment of neighbourhood management centres, we can provide some stability and consolidate successful initiatives over time and build relationships with the council and other public sector agencies that are more than short-term relationships. The critical output really is that people feel that they belong to a cohesive community, not just their own deprived community, but the larger community, and in Westminster that involves one of the wealthiest neighbourhoods in the world. But there's also the element where you can approach the regeneration of a ward, let's say, in an integrated fashion. So that if you're building a school and a youth club and a health centre, there is synergy between that program as opposed to just whacking up a building, leaving it, whacking up another building, leaving it. If people are engaged in that design process and engage in the delivery process following on from that, they're going to value it. So you then look at the creation of a sort of civic pride in where people live and how they want to live. We have historically very high levels of people who are long-term unemployed living in the north of the city. It's been recognized as a problem for a number of years. And we've relied, or the establishment, I suppose, has relied upon the existing infrastructure to change the conditions by how those people live and get work and all the rest of it. And of course, it hasn't worked very well. So we've got 9,000 odd people on incapacity benefit in the north of the city, I think. So we all recognize that we need to customize a service that actually exists in people's neighborhoods. So through the commissioning process, which also involved a tendering process, we constructed quite a big partnership, quite a rare partnership between RSLs, local employment brokerages and local women's projects as well as enterprise agencies, which basically provided 12 advisors strategically placed in our neighborhood centers and within RSLs to begin working with residents from, scratch. We do a lot of door knocking and so the program's worth £2 million over 2 years. It's providing a customized value to people who haven't received that level of value before, and so far the indications are that that's paying off big time. People are responding very well, and we're beginning to see it make a difference to people's lives.